Ah, it's one of the last beautiful days here in Bonn, and I just thought about it. I started to think about you because there was a creator, a granddad of a human woman, and he wanted to communicate with her, and he wanted to produce a video, but he was not clear enough in the video. So I decided before other creators go on my nerves, and I spent hours by producing a bullshit video from a granddad who's not putting enough effort into a video for for his own granddaughter. I'm gonna do this video here for you instead. Um, so it's one of the last beautiful days this year. So that is what I expect actually, and that makes me very sad because I lost my whole summer again. I had no beautiful summer since years in my life. And what I mean with the beautiful summer, I do not mean the weather. I mean the combination of having a beautiful weather, having a beautiful place, and having a beautiful time in life. And because my life became a little bit messed up, um, I had no beautiful summer since more than 10 years now. That's very embarrassing. And this year, Whitney destroyed my summer, my effort to have a beautiful summer. And anyway, I think that a very beautiful summer, mm, I do miss a piece for a very, very beautiful summer. Let me say it like that. And you know who it is. I do recover a little bit if you do care about that. Um, I had a few days now, but just a very few, was not so much stressed during my daytime. And regarding body sharing, just 1 second, I gotta move that a bit. Regarding body sharing, well, there are some creatures in my human body even right now, but they do not stress my nerve system so much as they did before in the last few days. And that do not mean that I do not get stressed, but not so much. And that means I can get at least a little bit quiet time for myself. And at least I have a few moments for myself. So that's what I need as a human to recover a bit. And of course, I was myself in the whole period, except for one short moment, in the whole period during the last 3 years. But if your human body is influenced so much and so bad, you you do not look at this at in a way that this would be your life. It is your life, and you do live it. You have to live it, but you cannot enjoy it, not even one day. In the last 3 years, I could not even enjoy one day really. There was a coma period in between. I call it like that. Maybe you have heard of that. It has something to do with you. Um, but like, if we would talk about enjoying a life like other people can do that, like that is not possible if you're connected with a symbiont inside your human body, and if other creatures which have lived as human beings before do influence your human body so badly in between, or if other creatures which have lived as human beings before them are inside your human body against that, you want that. And that's the case with Whitney, for example. Um, and that's going constantly on my nerves as a human being, on my nerve system, because I have constantly impulses inside my human body where Whitney is trying to communicate, or that I put my focus on her and stuff like that. And of course, they have many ways to influence human bodies. So it's one of the last beautiful days this year. And when I say it's one of the last beautiful days, I'm just talking about the weather. I'm not talking about the fact that I really can enjoy it. And hopefully you understand that that was very often when I said I had a beautiful day in the last 3 years, for example, on the other Facebook timeline. I did not mean with that I really could enjoy the days, because there was no day I really could enjoy. At the moment, I try to recover a bit, and I can, as you can see from my language skills, they're not perfect, but as long as my human body is not getting influenced too bad, um, it's becoming more or less a little bit more what it was before the symbionte traveled into my life, into my human body, and connected with my human body, and before other creatures which have lived as humans before did influence my human body so badly. In the beginning, when I showed myself to the public, and when you were informed that I do exist, and when you have checked the Facebook page, maybe I couldn't even speak English a bit. Well, maybe you judged already I would be unable to speak English, but that's wrong. I'm grown up on the Americans, on the British people, on the Irish people, on the Africans. So my English is quite good if I do not get stressed, and if my memory is not getting deleted from the Symbionte 1, for example, regarding English words. Because in, if that happens, of course, you are unable to speak out like a normal human, like you have done that in your whole life. You're unable to do that then, because you do not have the memory regarding the words, or you're not able anymore to build up sentences, like to speak sentence. It's absolutely embarrassing what I've been to in this 3 years in parts. Absolutely embarrassing, and I'm sure I did look absolutely stupid to the public regarding that old Facebook page. But I wanted to make something transparent. Therefore, it was necessary actually to be transparent and to make transparent what's going on in my life. At the moment, I'm fighting against all the creators which are trying to stress me in my human life. So I'm trying to avoid all kind of communication with creatures which do bring more stress, because otherwise you will have no chance to ever get to know me as I've lived before. You always just will get the picture from a human man whose body is badly influenced and who's totally stressed from creatures which have lived as human beings before, for example. And then you have no chance. You have no chance to understand. You have no chance to get to know me. And that's very sad. That's something which is making me very sad since 3 years already. I did not choose the situation both of us came into, but I want you to know that I'm fighting to recover and to be able to communicate with you in a way that I can accept it by myself. Because it was unacceptable for me and very painful that that you realize that I do exist and that I do love you in a situation I was in, and where you could not see me in a way like I have lived before, where you were unable to understand the situation I'm in, and I think you are unable to do so. But I also think you are unable to understand how how sad I feel because of that. I think you unable. I think you have been here in Bonn into the Rhino one day. I think that was you on the boat, and I think you are. You cannot imagine how sad it makes me that I had to leave, and I would have to leave today again, even if you would walk here right now. There are people there directly on the side here where I'm filming. Um, but for example, Whitney is in my body, and compared to them, she will not do anything to them, I think. But if you would be here, she potentially would attack you. So I would have to leave, as long as I'm in some kind of these stupid situations. And an attack from Whitney, you would not survive. It's that simple. That's the potential risk there. So I'm very sad regarding that situation, and I'm very sad that other creatures which have lived as human beings before, like Whitney, did try to destroy your chance and to steal your chance. That's 50% of the story, and the other 50% is that I did not choose to come into that trap. And if some individuals which wanted to help you, that you get informed that I do exist, would have not tried to help you, you wouldn't even know that I do exist, because I would have not informed you, which was maybe a bad mistake from my side when I was young, because that's how long I do know that already. Now ask yourself, if you watch this video, I'm not looking so embarrassing anymore, right? Compared to the other videos where my human body get influenced so much, and when I'm full of pain because I got harmed so much by creatures which have lived as human beings before. Even with the language, you can see the difference. There is a huge difference. And it's difficult for me that I do not know if you see this video or if you just have seen the other videos. I do not know if you already have judged me, and if you have judged me, I got judged because first of all I got judged wrong, and that's what I think. And the next point is that I got judged from the woman I do love wrong because I wanted to help others to understand universal communication better. And that's totally embarrassing. The whole situation is totally embarrassing. When I try to relax, it is not possible for me to do that very good without thinking about it. And that was not possible for a long time in my life. Depends on the period, of course, but that's a fact. It's a sad fact in my life. um, See, regarding if we ever can get to know each other, if you ever will have a chance to get to know me in a way like I would have lived, and I mean, if you ever have the chance that we can meet each other, that we can talk to each other directly, that you can solve your open questions, all these kind of things. That's depending also on the symbiont in my life, and that's very sad because I'm not the symbiont. I'm the creature who was born this human body, but I do have big problems if we would meet up and there would be a big problem because Whitney would attack you or anything else is happening to you. So I'm gonna have a big problem always to meet you as long as the symbiont is in my human body. My lifetime experience is not so romantic regarding the universe. What creatures which have lived as human beings before can do to human bodies, like to mine, is sometimes absolutely embarrassing and absolutely brutal. It is not romantic. Of course, I do communicate with some creatures which do love me, like my mom or my grandma, or my family members, stuff like that. But all the people which are thinking that creatures which have lived as human beings before would not harm living humans, they're totally wrong. That's totally stupid. And if humans think that it would be or could be romantic um, to have, for example, creatures which have lived as humans before inside your human body, well, I would say in 95% of the time it can't be. And the rest is something which you can like or you cannot like it, to keep it simple, regarding what they can do with sex stuff. In general, it's not that I don't like sex, but I do not like sex against my will, and that's what did happen to me, as far as you know. So that's what I'm communicating. So it's absolutely embarrassing. Also, if I think back regarding the last 3 years, to think about a time period where I was trying to make stuff transparent, what is very important for people which are interested in universal stuff. I think so, yeah. And humans could learn a lot of it from it, yeah. All that is true. But I never wanted to show myself to you like that. I never I never wanted that you get informed that a human man who's loving you, me, is living like that. And I just did live like that for a period in my life. The moment I look at this like that, I look at this as 3 years of a long life, and 10 years went not so well because I got attacked from my dad, actually. So, just that you know from my own eyes, like how I see it, um, I got attacked in the past from creatures. You know that, which from creatures which have lived as human beings before. So, but they communicated. Well, one was an ex-male, so he lived as a man before. He communicated he had no real reason even to do so. He just wanted to mess around and wanted to put up a fucking show. And I'm really sad because I got badly attacked. Not a little bit. I got harmed badly, and others got abused. But I want you to understand that as long as I'm connected with ancestors in general or creatures in general which have lived as human beings before, attacks can happen from different individuals. That's my lifetime experience, and the reasons can be stupid. It do not have to be important stuff. Some creatures which have lived as human beings before just do that for nothing, just because they want to waste their own lifetime, or because they think it's funny, stuff like that. And that is absolutely horrible. It's absolutely stupid because some creatures which have lived as human beings before are even today after they left their human body absolutely mean, brutal, stupid, arrogant. You will find all that. You will find even creatures which are victims of their own ego, even after they lost their human body. So, after the Symbionte Lines traveled into my life, I also had to learn some stuff. That's true. And I did. I did. And the mean stuff is what I learned. I could not imagine before that because I made my own peace. I made my own peace with me before I was trying to reach my mom so bad. So I made my own peace with myself. And I could not imagine that creatures which have lived as human beings before die, lose their human body, and then are even unable to find their own peace, to make their own peace with themselves, or even that I find a situation that or find myself in a situation where I'm able to communicate with so many creatures which have lived as human beings before, and then there are so many stupid creatures, so many non-intelligent creatures, so many fucked up creatures regarding the social aspects, how they have been socialized. And so that was very difficult to in the beginning to get that, to be absolutely honest, because I could not imagine that because I made my own peace with myself. So I cannot imagine easily that creatures which have lived as human beings before are so fucking stupid and non-intelligent that they mess around for nothing with others in general, because there is the risk that you badly get harmed. Um, I went through a stupid period in my life. That's how I look back at the last 3 years. Because of my biological human body, I've acted stupid often in between. Because how my human body was influenced. That's how I look at that. I hope that I not have to live like I've lived the last 3 years in the future. And I mean the surrounding, the area where I have to live, where people got abused as well, which were living in the area where I was living, which got attacked. where human bodies were used to abuse others. And I'm very thankful that that did not happen to mine in a direct way in the house where I live. But of course, my body was influenced in a bad way if you, for example, were then triggered through media data, which shouldn't happen to a woman which work in the media industry, is what I thought. But maybe I was wrong. Um, I look back at 3 years of a fail, a very huge fail. I wanted to inform humans about the possibility to communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before. But my efforts got attacked from a very, very few individuals which messed around with the situation that there is a human who was trying to inform others and to help others that they then will be able to communicate with their own ancestors, for example. And I got attacked for different reasons, but mostly private ego reasons. And that's making me very, very sad because I went through a lot. And I went through a lot of pain. And some of that was unnecessary when I thought it is necessary to practice universal communication. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad that that did happen, because it will also, regarding the project I did in the past, it will also lead to a situation where a lot of humans lost themselves. And I wanted to inform about universal communication, not to be part of a situation where creatures which have lived as human beings before, because of their ego, to organize a situation where they then abuse my life situation that I'm willing to help others, abuse my human body in a way that them I was in a position that I could not inform as good as I could have done that maybe when my human body would not have been influenced so much. So it makes me very sad that a lot of people lost themselves there. And it did cost me a lot of energy to make everything transparent in the past on the Facebook time. And regarding you, I do not know how we can clear our table if we do not communicate directly with each other. I mean, directly best as possible. If we cannot meet up, Skype would be the minimum. Would be something good. Email would be better than the public internet, because then I could tell you some stuff I don't want to even put it on Facebook. I don't even like Facebook, to be absolutely honest. That's the truth in my life. I don't even like that. So I am in a trap situation as long as you do not talk to me directly. And that because others did force me into that shit. And I'm just into that fucking trap situation because both of us got attacked, and otherwise you will lose the chance to understand. And I don't think that's very kind of you, that you not get that and do not contact me. If you have judged me already, you must have judged wrong. If you have judged the chaos in the house where I had to live, well, that's not a place where I wanted to live. I never wanted to live in such a chaos. I never wanted that my human body have to suffer so much if it doesn't make sense for others, first of all, and if that's happening in a situation where you get informed. I never wanted to get attacked invisible. Life sometimes can be just the way you don't want it. And that did happen to me. It's that simple. So I don't know how to solve my million problems I have in my mind with you. Because you are the woman I love. But the problem is you were not listening. And then you lost yourself. in the fucking old Facebook timeline, that universal shit. But I look at that and I think it's totally embarrassing, because how can a woman not understand easy that there's a creature born in a human man's body, my body, who's loving her and who's feeling true love? And if that is the most important thing in the universe, how can a woman be able to not even get to know that guy after she heard that? I don't get that. I want to get to know you, and I want to use the situations we can use to do that. And that would be not that I post one monologue after the other in a stupid situation where my human body is totally stressed out or full of pain, or my human brain is influenced badly in a way that it is nearly empty. So I don't want to do it in that way, that I keep going uploading data like that. I want to have a situation where I can contact you when I feel good, when I feel comfortable to communicate with you. That would be great. That would be fair. It would be fair to you. It would be fair for yourself if you understand that. Because otherwise you will always judge a human body influenced by many, many different creatures, instead of listening to the creature who I am inside my human body. Me, Niall, born 1984 in Germany. The whole video was me. A little bit more relaxed. But I just had a few days to relax a little bit. And these are just a very few days after 10 horrible years in my life, which did cost me a lot of energy. I want you to understand that. So I need a moment, even now, to recover. The winter gonna come. The winter is not very beautiful in Germany. It's totally fucked up. So even if it takes me until the next summer, I will try to communicate with you now. It's difficult for me to be in the situation I am in, and a big part of it, why it's so difficult, is because you did not communicate with me directly. You cannot imagine how much that did harm me after both of us were guided into the trap. And if you did communicate that you judged already something regarding me, you must be wrong. That's what I think. Because I can look at my whole life, I can see how I was influenced by other creators. I can see how I've lived before, and it do not match up. It's because my biological human body got influenced so bad. The other thing is, my feelings regarding you are true. That's a fact. And they have been there even before the Symbiont Heinz or others came into my life. Regarding the system, then that they can use thoughts, inputs. You have to understand, if I communicate with you and other creatures would try that, I always would see that as raping my human body, so that my human body got raped, and as an attack. Always. Most of the time, 99%, except if I accept special situations where I agree with that with one of your ancestors also. And regarding the past, what I wanted to show the public there, you have to understand that you did not contact me directly, made it hard as possible for me to inform others about universal communication, because you did puzzle around, and I think you got lost. So that was one of the reasons why the Facebook timeline got deleted. One of the reasons was you. Besides the fact that Whitney did abuse my human body, and another creature thought he could mess around with me, and I had to make my point clear to him before I can keep going. But I think I've done that already. Because he tried to mess around with my life, and he lost totally. He shamed himself by trying that. And that's what he said by himself, that creature who have lived as a man before later. I'm not talking about me, Niall, I'm talking about another. So I want you to understand that attacks can happen. I'm not weak, I'm a strong guy. I always have been a strong guy, and I can take a lot of suffering, but it doesn't always make sense. And what I was willing to do was to show stuff which would help humans to understand situations better, which can happen in their human body. I was not willing to get manipulated bad because of an attack, and it's especially not for nonsense like I have them heard that some individual creators just wanted to mess around with me, the living human, to look strong to others. That's totally fucked up and stupid. That some creatures just mess around with living humans to have a fake ass strong profile. And that's what it is in the end. Because they do use the symbiont to harm humans. For example, the symbiont alliance, they use him. It's not even that they are that strong in the end. So me as a creature inside my human body, me Nyla, you look at that shit and I have to say it's like being in a little kindergarten with little stupid guys which are messing around to put up a show for people. And that's sadly what I had to realize during the last 3 years what did happen. And that's totally fucked up because I really was harmed. I had to suffer a lot. And just for nonsense like that is not what I would have supported. And that's why it was 100% abuse anyway the whole time from these individual creatures which did abuse the situations that I was trying to help. One individual creature who have lived as a man before, and one individual creature which have lived as a woman before. And I told you that already, she just tries to go on my nerves that I always look stressed and that I always look and act fucked up, so that I look stupid in front of you. That is her plan. That is what she did communicate in the past. So I do look back at a time period in my life which is an absolute mess, an absolute disaster. And even now I cannot enjoy my life. First of all, because you are not here, and the next thing is because we have to clear our table. So it is very difficult for me at the moment to enjoy life for real because of that. Regarding attacks I went through, and regarding that other creatures can attack humans. So that can happen. That's how I look at it as a man. That can happen, and it can hurt a lot. It can lead to absolute embarrassing and painful situations, and even to situations where you then have big problems to live with them. And that did happen to me. But sometimes that is something you cannot choose. It's not my choice, right? My choice was to help others, and then I got attacked by ignorant, stupid creatures, individuals, which thought that would be cool. I look at that, and I have been always a quite intelligent guy. That's what I think. That's what other people told me before these